Welcome to HealthWatch, presented by Novant Health. I'm your host, June Baker. Our show features local physicians and health professionals discussing health topics of importance to local residents. Today we will meet Becky Whiteside of the Novant Health Medical Group to learn more about the construction going on in Charlotte. And then we will meet Christy Delbridge to discuss volunteering with Novant Health. And finally, Perry Allen, Pharmacy Manager at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, will share information with us on the COVID-19 vaccine. Stay tuned to learn about valuable health topics with HealthWatch. First, let's welcome Becky Whiteside of the Novant Health Medical Group. Hey, Becky, it's so good to have you on the show.
It's wonderful to be here, June. Thank you for having me.
I know we see each other every day.
We do.
And our offices are next to each other, and we see each other at the clinic. But it's great to have you on the show.
It's great to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been quite a while. And this is a really totally different conversation today. So there may be some people out there who don't know who you are, except I find that hard to believe. You've grown up here, you're from here. But tell us a little bit about your background and your education.
Okay, perfect. So I am born and raised in Brunswick County, so I am from the area. I left following high school and went to East Carolina University to obtain my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Following graduation, I obviously took my nursing boards and became a registered nurse by license. Started my career as a registered nurse in the emergency department. So jumped right in with that career and joined Novant Health in 2009. So coming up on 12 years with the organization. And in that time frame, I decided to go back in 2010 and obtain my master's in healthcare administration and finished that up in 2012. And I've extended my career. I've done clinical analyst work with Novant Health.
Oh, yeah.
I've also been a clinic administrator, managed several specialty clinics in the medical group. And then most recently, several years ago, joined as the regional manager of the specialty clinics.
What does that mean, the regional manager of the specialty clinics?
So I do a lot of work directly in the medical group. So oversee all of the specialty clinics and work in partnership with the clinic administrator, the managers of those clinics, and then help with physician recruitment, act as a liaison between the physicians, break down any barriers that may come with partnering and being in the hospital side of things. So I partner with the hospital leadership as well to basically make our process as fluid as possible.
Mm-hmm. Busy job, busy lady.
It is.
So in talking about your roles and responsibilities, we've covered all that normal stuff. How about this year? It's been a little different, right?
It has.
So you've been involved with the vaccine clinic, and you've been out there every day, just like a lot of people,
Yes.
and done an amazing job.
Thank you.
So what's that been like? Is it rewarding?
It is. It's probably one of the most rewarding things I've done in my career. Being at the bedside, it was a very rewarding part of what I did and what I found in nursing. And being at the vaccine site has brought that back.
Oh, yeah.
So I've gotten to interact with patients a lot more. Some days I get to vaccinate and fill in and
I've seen
cover. But it's touching the community. It's living our mission, vision, and values. It's all the things that we hold ourselves in high standards to do. And through this process, we have really been able to make an amazing impact on our community and take care of them. It has been challenging. We know we've been outside for months now.
It's been cold, wet, hot, rainy.
Yes, yes. Even pulled up the propane tank the one day, and there was icicles on the propane tank. So seeing that, patients have been so appreciative and supportive through the process because they've been in the elements with us and then seen all that we've done. But at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do, is serve our community.
Right, yeah. And such great comments from some of the people that have come through the lines getting their shots. It's been amazing. Well, today you're here to deliver some really exciting news, and I'm so excited. I have seen some wood and stuff coming in and being erected, and I've noticed that there's construction at Novant Health Oceanside Family Medicine and Convenient Care in Charlotte. So tell me all about that.
Yes, so we have the honor and privilege of building a brand new building right beside our current space. So in this 28,000 square foot building,
That's huge.
It is, it is. It'll be right behind Oceanside Family Medicine and Convenient Care in Charlotte, and it'll house many different specialties that may not need to be close to the hospital.
Right, yeah.
So those for those patients that need neurology services or psychiatric medicine, endocrinology, or just to name a few that are going in this space. So we have the capability of putting these specialty clinics right beside potential patients' primary care physician. So we're excited about the opportunity to have those there.
I hope we're going to increase the parking.
We are. So there will be parking, of course, at that location as well. And we also have a wonderful space for physical therapy. So we're extremely excited about the physical therapy space.
I am so excited about that. And the community is going to be so happy with that.
Yes, they are. So this space will actually house 2 gyms. It'll have a track for patients. Of course, we will offer physical therapy services, occupational therapy services, and speech at that location. It'll have the normal weights and stuff for the physical therapy patients, but it also have some other equipment like the biodex for balancing and various different new equipment that we will be able to offer to our patients in a brand new, beautiful space.
Well, tell me about that physical therapy area. Will it be convenient to patients to get in and out? And
it will be. Yeah, absolutely. So with the need for many of these specialties, it is a 2-story building that we're constructing. But the physical therapy space will be very convenient. When a patient enters the front doors, everything will be pocketed in a suite format.
Oh, nice.
So each office will be in its own suite, and the physical therapy space will be on that first floor.
So it'll be on the first floor.
It will be.
And there'll probably be lots of parking right around there, so that'll be easy for them to get in.
Absolutely.
And talk a little bit about what other specialties will be in there.
Yep. So we have endocrinology. Okay. So we have a potential new endocrinologist joining us. So we are excited about expansion of services at endocrinology. We are also have psychiatric medicine, and then neurology as well going into that space. So
some of our current specialists that are on Smith Avenue, and where they'll be moving into that building.
They will. They will have much more space for the patients, their individualized suites where we can offer a lot more services to them.
So how long do you expect this building to take?
Yes. So we are hoping for this space. Right now it is on track to be open, or ready, construction finished and ready to open at the end of the year.
At the end of the year. Yes. Well, that's not far off at all. These past 3 months have gone like crazy. It seems like it should be longer with the pandemic and being in quarantine and, you know, not being able to go anywhere. It seems like it would be real slow, but it hasn't for me. I don't know about you. Yes. It seems like we've been so busy, it has just flown by.
We have.
So it will be great. So what else is coming in the pipeline? What can we expect in new services? Are we hiring anybody?
So we are. So we are hiring for gastroenterology. We have 2 gastroenterologists on their way to us. We're working through the credentialing process right now, so we're excited about the expansion of services there. And then, of course, we're recruiting in tons of specialties. So we have neurology. We're recruiting for a neurologist, a psychiatrist as well. And of course, I mentioned the endocrinologist planning to join. So we have a lot of movement in the specialty world, which we're excited about expanding services to the community.
That's awesome. We're growing like crazy.
We are.
Yeah. Well, Becky, it's been so much fun having you here. You've done an amazing job with recruitment, with the vaccine clinic, and we just appreciate what you do out there every day. So thanks again for being here.
Thank you for having me, and I couldn't do it without my wonderful team.
That's true. And you'll be back shortly to tell us about how the construction's going, right?
Absolutely. Whatever you need.
Thanks again, Becky.
Thank you.
Now let's welcome Christy Delbridge of Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Welcome, Christy. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Great.
Always a pleasure.
Great to have you. So for some of our viewers who may not have seen you or heard you, please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm Christy Delbridge, and I'm the volunteer coordinator at Brunswick Medical Center, Novant Health. I work with the volunteers in a variety of positions. Our goal is to have about 200 volunteers at the hospital, and so I work with the different departments and placement and training of our volunteers so that we have a great team to help out our clinical staff at the hospital.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been with Novant Health?
I am right about 2.5 years, so not a long time, but I've settled in nicely, I feel, at this point. Yep.
It seems like you've been there longer.
Yeah. Nope, just a good fit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
it's a
very
good
comfortable
fit.
there.
Yeah,
it's a great
yeah.
place.
Well, tell us a little bit about your past experiences before you arrived here in Brunswick County and at Novant Health. Tell us about what you were doing up until that point.
Well, I grew up in Wilmington.
You did?
Yep, I went to UNCW for a couple of years, Appalachian State for a couple of years. But then I decided that I wanted to be a ski bum. So I moved to Colorado, lived in Breckenridge, Colorado for 5 years, and then wanted to go back to school. So I moved to Salt Lake City and went to the University of Utah. And I worked in the ski industry for the past 32 years. So totally different than a hospital, but still very guest-oriented and
really.
things. And I ran children's programs, so the children's ski school and childcare and summer camps and that stuff. So that's my guest service side. But then I also did volunteerism. I ran a community theater. I ran our local wellness programs. So I worked with a lot of different organizations in the community. So that's my experience working with volunteers. So very, very different than a hospital, but my dad was an orthopedic surgeon, so I was around the medical community in Wilmington as I grew up. And I just decided I was done with snow and ready to come back to the beach, so I came back a couple years ago. Yeah.
I recall hearing that story
Yeah.
now about the ski
Yep.
industry, but what a difference.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I told my friend the other day, though, because they got a foot of snow, and I said, you know what? I love gardening so much more than skiing now.
too.
So I'm happy to be back in North Carolina.
Do you still ski?
No, I have not been back to ski
Yeah.
since. Yeah. No, I'm done.
I'm afraid to get hurt.
Exactly.
Well, I'm sure it's been an interesting year for the hospital volunteers with the pandemic and what have you. What impact has it had on the volunteers at the hospital?
Well, on Friday the 13th in March of 2020, that was the day we suspended our volunteer program. So it was a sad day, and we had to send them all home. And you know, at that point, we had no clue how long they were going to be out. It's like, okay, see you in a month or two. You know, everybody go take care of yourself. But it just extended and extended, and it had a huge impact on our volunteers because they are such caring, giving people, and their time at the hospital was very important in their lives too. So at the hospital, we found out the holes, you know, when they were going, it was like, oh my goodness. You know, we found out just really hit home how important our volunteers are to Brunswick Medical Center. But we were lucky we piloted the program actually to bring volunteers back into the hospitals.
That's where I wanted to go next.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about how you're going about, because now we're bringing them back in. So how do you do that? How do you reintroduce all them with all what's going on?
Yeah, well, we developed, some training just to talk about safety procedures that are in place or changes that have been made in the hospital to increase safety for themselves, for our patients, our visitors. And it's mandatory. They have to go through this training before they come back into volunteer. And
well, did you start slowly? Are you bringing a smaller group first?
Yeah,
and then
most definitely. We brought them back into just certain locations, so not patient facing at first. They helped us in our supply chain, receiving materials or packing patient folders, that are given up on the floors. Doing just support jobs, but not necessarily
in a patient
public
care
facing.
area.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. And then as we felt comfortable, visitor restrictions started lifting, our numbers started decreasing in the community, we've looked at positions and expanded and brought back more and more, opened up more positions.
Did they have any instructions, like a class or anything like that in safety for COVID?
Yeah, we bring them back, and it's about a 2-hour class.
Oh.
An hour and a half to 2. And we do everything from putting on gloves, taking off gloves, cleaning the wheelchairs again. It's social distancing. I actually have yarn that we stretch out 6 feet because we, don't necessarily observe 6 feet with people.
Right.
And just a tour of the hospital looking at, we've put up plexiglass shields
Right,
everywhere.
they're everywhere.
Yeah, but we've talked about smiling in your mask, something as simple as that. Can you see a smile? Yeah, you can with your eyes, and talking loud in your mask, enunciating. We do all that with them, so it's a lot of things.
Well, I've been putting a lot of time in at the vaccination clinic, and I've seen so many of our volunteers, but I've also seen a lot of community members who have expressed an interest in volunteering, even when this is over, perhaps coming to the hospital. So are you looking for more volunteers?
Oh, most definitely, yes. So, yeah, I've been out there with you, and it's just been incredible, the support that people in their cars are coming through and saying, hey, how can I volunteer?
Yeah.
I want to give back now. And at the moment, we're not bringing new volunteers right in, but what I would love for people to do is go ahead and get your information to us. So,
and how do you do that?
You submit an application online.
Okay.
So at novanthealth.org. There's a whole volunteer website, and just choose Brunswick Medical Center. Fill out an application, and then I'll have that, and I can reach out, right away as soon as we're ready to bring them back. And fingers crossed, it's going to be soon, because we need more volunteers to
I know,
fill
they're
those.
in every department. I mean, when you
Exactly.
walk through the hospital, you see them everywhere, and now there's hardly anybody there, and it's so sad.
Yeah, I get excited because on our call every morning, I say, how many volunteers are back
Yeah, I
with
get
us
that.
today?
I hear
And,
that.
yeah, it's like, we have 18 volunteers today, so we're
And
getting back.
Again, how many volunteers do you have?
Right now, I have 90 that are through the training and coming back and volunteering at the hospital and at the vaccine center. Another 27 are trained and ready to come, but they're waiting for their positions like pet therapy or to come back in the emergency room. We're not bringing volunteers there yet. But we like our number to be right around 200. So I've got volunteers out there that are still waiting a little bit longer. But we're still going to need to bring in some new people for a variety of things that they help us with at the hospital.
Yeah. Well, given the response that I've had at the vaccine center, I think you're going to get quite a few new ones.
That's
because they so appreciated what we did for them.
Yeah.
And they got to interact with some of the hospital volunteers already. And they've become friends.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to have some new
Built
ones.
those relationships already. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
yes, I think that's great. Well, it's been wonderful having you on the show. And after you get your full complement, I'd love to have you back to talk more about what jobs there are available, what they do at the hospital, and so forth. So
Wonderful.
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Can I just do one more shout
Sure.
out real quick? Because we have an incredible community of home volunteers as well. that make the quilts for the babies or the baby hats,
yeah.
and they have been so strong and solid through this whole thing.
I'm
I know
sure.
we're quarantined and people need something to do to,
That's
but
true.
these individuals just have gone above and beyond. They actually put in over 4,000 hours during the pandemic. And they gave us items that we used in new and different ways, like comfort items for our isolated patients. And it was so nice. And I just wanted to do a huge thank you to them.
Well, great. And we thank them too. That's
Exactly.
been awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Christy.
You're welcome.
Finally, let's welcome Perry Allen of Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Well, welcome, Perry. It's so good to have you on the show.
June, thanks for inviting me. I was excited to come and speak with you.
Well, good. So for our viewers who haven't met you, because you're always in the pharmacy, so a lot of our viewers probably don't know you, share a little bit about your background and your education.
Okay, June, it's been a while since I've been on the show with you. But
It has been.
yeah, it's been a few years, but I grew up in western North Carolina, a little town called Morganton. I went to Chapel Hill for pharmacy school, got my bachelor's degree in 1993, and then I went on to get my doctor of pharmacy in 2000. But during that time, I'd started my job at Brunswick Medical Center back in 1993. And
Those are the old days, right,
That
Perry?
was the old days in the old building. I actually was a pharmacy student intern at Brunswick when I came down to Wilmington to do my internships.
Wow. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like you've always been there to me. So how many years have you been at Brunswick?
Almost 28 years now. It'll be 28 in May.
Wow, 28. Huh, almost long as me.
Yeah,
No, longer than me.
When did you come?
I came in 99.
Okay, so
Yeah,
a few years.
yeah.
Yeah, I came down as the student and I fell in love with the area and
Yeah,
just
me
didn't
too.
want to leave. So I've been here ever since.
Well, that's awesome. Well, tell me, I know I have mine, but tell me some of your favorite memories of the old days at Brunswick Community Hospital.
Okay, yeah, there's been a lot over the years. One of them we were just reminiscent about was one day when the roof blew off of part of the hospital over in our women's center department. And the rain was pouring in, and we were trying to move the patients, and we were moving the meds out of there, and it was an event for sure. Back in 2006, Novant Health took over the hospital, and that was a whole burst of new energy in the community, and that was exciting. 2011, as you know, we moved into our new building.
Yeah.
We had this major, move from the old town to the new town, and the patients got transported, and all the supplies and the medications were all moved. It was a huge endeavor, but it was well worth it.
That was exciting. It was so foggy that morning when we moved those patients. Do you recall that?
I do not recall that. I was inside to the end.
We took pictures outside, and it was so foggy that morning.
Oh, and then, of course, Hurricane Florence a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We were stuck in the hospital for 7 straight days and nights, sleeping
Talk
in
about quarantine.
Oh, my goodness, right? We were getting prepared.
We prepared for this. Well, this has certainly been an interesting year with the pandemic and all. How has that affected your pharmacy team?
Well, back at the beginning, we were, nobody really knew what was going on. And
Right.
We split our team into an A and a B team, and we were doing 7 on and 7 off. So we kind of minimized the number of people that were coming into contact with each other.
Yeah.
We allowed some of our pharmacists to work remotely. They could do a lot of their order verifications and a lot of their clinical reviews from a remote computer at home. So that was helpful. That was the biggest impact. And then, of course, over the last 4 or 5 months, we've been having to bring some of our team over to the vaccine site to help prepare those vaccines for our community.
Yeah. You mentioned vaccine. How fun was the day the first shipment of vaccine came to the hospital? What was that like?
That was pretty exciting. I got a text that said, the vaccine is here, and I got down to our loading dock, and there was people everywhere. They were all celebrating. It was a big party down there on the deck when the vaccine came off the truck. Everybody was clapping and applauding. We had public safety escorting the vaccine all the way up to the pharmacy. And a little later that day, we marched the vaccine down the hall to our room we had set up and started administering it to our team members.
Yeah, that was a day of celebration.
It was, for
Yeah.
sure.
So how have you and your team helped the community to understand and talk about concerns and fears of the vaccine? How have you and your team handled that?
Well, we've been out at the vaccine clinic every day with the vaccinators, and we do periodically get questions from
You do, yeah.
people who are, maybe they're just a little hesitant, or they've got another medication they've taken and they're not sure if it's compatible, or we have to figure out the timeline of when did you get another vaccine, or did
Yeah.
you have COVID in the past, and when was it, and how many days ago. So we luckily are there, and we can walk out and talk to those patients when they have those questions and try to put their mind at ease that it's okay to get it.
Yeah. Well, if we have viewers at home who are, they haven't received their vaccine yet, and they're a little apprehensive, what would you say to those folks? Any words of encouragement?
Absolutely. Yeah, so if you think about it, the vaccines that we're administering now are highly effective, amazingly effective, really, for the percentages of patients that it works. While there is an opportunity for an adverse effect or a bad side effect, it's really rare when you look at the millions and millions of people who have received the vaccine and the few that have gotten serious complications from
Right.
them. And it helps out our community, helps you out and your family and your friends and your neighbors. So I always like to encourage everyone to get the vaccine.
Yeah. Well, how do you think the response from the community has been with the vaccine? Do you feel like we've had a great response?
Oh yeah, it's been overwhelming. We've been working out in the
Right.
parking lot.
We've
and
been out there together.
Yep, we've had thousands of people coming through
We have.
the clinic. Everyone is in a good mood. Everyone's hopeful. So many people bring food to the team. We've had so many sweets and cookies and candy
and
chips, and we have.
And there have been some local community members and organizations who have provided lunch to us,
Yes.
in addition to the county who's been providing lunch. I mean, it's been a tremendous outpouring of comfort, and everybody's been wonderful. And as you said, everybody's in a good mood.
Yes,
They're
it's
happy
amazing.
to get it,
They
they're
are.
proud.
Exactly.
They wear the badges of honor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we've gotten to partner with the Brunswick County Health Services and with
Right.
Dozier and with some of the other local health communities and organizations. It's been a really unique community effort.
It's very unique, I think, to see that many people and that many organizations and companies to come together for once and to agree that this is really important and we all need to do this together.
Absolutely.
I think that it speaks volumes of the community that we live in.
It does.
And the people that are surrounding us in Brunswick County. Is there somewhere that the community can go for more information on the vaccine or just anything related to the pandemic?
Absolutely. Novant Health has resources available on our website for vaccine information, and you can also contact your primary care provider to get some information on how and where you can get your vaccination. If you haven't gotten it yet, there's still opportunities to do so, and you can still find those resources.
Yeah, I think I saw one website, it was getvaccinated.org,
Yes.
and there's lots of information on that.
Yes.
Well, it's really been a pleasure having you back. It's been so long since we've been on the show together, and I'm hoping that these days are coming to an end and we can quit
Yes.
wearing the mask.
Yes,
And,
me too.
but until it's time, we're going to continue to be safe.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again for coming, Perry. I hope you'll come back real soon.
Thanks, June, for having me. I've enjoyed our time together.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to ATMC TV's HealthWatch. I hope this information was beneficial for you and your family. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to see discussed on a future show, please email them to atmctv@atmc.com. Visit NovantHealth.org for more information on Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, local doctors, and general health information. Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to join us next time for Health Watch on ATMC TV.